Okay, here's the plan. We're gonna finish this today. That's the goal. And not only finish it, but do all the achievements and collectibles, and then have the time to go back and do that with the other DLCs too, so that Sunday, Sunday, be there. Or else. We can go and do just the Krieg DLC. Try to 100% that in a sitting. And if we do that, then lo and behold, look into my surprise, we're actually done with the Borderlands story content, basically. I mean, I have more planned for Borderlands, of course, but we'd be caught up. We'd be caught up. That would be great. Because if we do get caught up, I really just need to go to the bank.
Did you see that?
Then I can start some new stuff and feel good about it. Obviously, we'll keep doing Halo Mondays and working through that. But what I'm really thinking of is finally, I don't want to overthink too, but we should be able to get to. I think we should finally be able to get to Fallout New Vegas. 3 years later. All this time later, I think we can finally do it. Do we subsist off that cannon anymore? That cannon is life. That cannon is life for us anymore. Okay. I've seen the beginning and I've seen the end, and some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. How's that sound? Sound okay, I guess. Saw a headline of people getting DMCA on sound effects from games. I know, oof, you get DMCA takedowns, but you can blame Roblox for that. That's because Roblox refused to pay the guy who originally made that sound. He's famous. I can't remember his name. He's actually contributed a lot to the game industry. So what they did is they literally just passed that on to the developers. If you want to use OOF now, you make Roblox games, you have to pay for the rights, and I'm sure the rights aren't all that cheap. When Roblox could have just given him a bunch of money.
You made the right decision, friend. You won't regret it. Now, on account of
Yeah, that sound right there. He used to be on G4. He would review games with his buddy, and they had that show where they like played off of one another. But he was the first guy to like put a rock track inside a video game and made a bunch of music for games. Anyway, he made that sound effect way back in like the 80s when he was doing stuff for games. And he said, "Hey, Roblox, you gotta pay me for this. You can't just use it. I made it." Roblox said, "Nah, we ain't paying you." Said, "All right, well, I'll see you in court then." And Roblox obviously lost, and then they just went ahead and passed that on to their developers, who are like 15-year-olds who know how to code.
I got tricks.
You know, of course, there's some adults. A lot of college kids make Roblox games, but it's just a shitty business decision from Roblox. They make plenty of money. They're super popular. People don't think about Roblox, but it is mega popular and mega successful. Some of that's for good reason. A lot of it's for good reason. In fact, they've built quite a platform. They've built good tools, and some people make some good games on there. It's weird, but they do. And it's just the wrong way to handle that. They should have... they've built all these tools. They should 100%... Nice.
Oh, this gun's a fucking joke.
They should 100% have paid for a bunch of art assets and audio assets for their developers to use. Because Roblox gets a huge cut of everything those games make. You have to make... It's so stupid, but they actually pay you in Robux. You get like 20% of whatever your game makes in Robux, and then you get paid in Robux. So it's shady as hell. And then you can trade those Robux out for and the rate is less than what you pay for them. Because Robux are unlike any other microtransaction that we're used to, where it's like, 100 V-Bucks is a buck and so on. Robux are more expensive than $1. They're some of the most overpriced microtransaction. It's some of the most overpriced microtransaction currency out there.
Oi, Stickley! Come on
So-
out, you smooth-talking swindler. I want my money back.
Twitch has got to build some tools, and they got to do it quick.
Taking the money and run.
Because just asking
Set to tracking
their
the
content creators
getting their money back.
to neuter their content isn't the right way to do it. We all know that. And when people are like, I don't blame Twitch for doing what they're doing, they're being reasonable. No, they should have been building these tools way in advance because YouTube's already been there, done that. YouTube's built good tools. It doesn't fuck you on that stuff. You can mute the songs and keep the game audio,
I'm gonna find...
but you're not going to lose your channel. You're just not going to be able to run ads on it. Twitch has been doing a lot of weird stuff lately, like the way that they were doing the mid-roll ads, and they're trying to make the platform more profitable. It already is profitable.
We're a sixer and a sausage short of a cookout.
It seems to me that they're going to be willing to give some big streamers big fat contracts, but otherwise they're going to ignore a lot of the roots and ignore the fact that Twitch doesn't make money unless there's content creators on here making money. I know it's a two-way street. They make the platform and host the platform, but Twitch also needs content creators. Same thing with YouTube. Content creators are always going to have at least some leverage in the fight because YouTube makes some original content, but even their original content they make with content creators. Same thing with Twitch. Twitch doesn't have a site without content creators. You know, I'd call it 50-50. I really would. Maybe 60-40. Advantage going to Twitch because they did build the tools. But I would prefer, and I think it is 50-50, and I think that's why they've got to build tools that work with content creators. They can't just say, because it lowers the website's quality too. Nobody wants to watch games without music. Nobody wants to watch games without sound effects. That's ridiculous. And Twitch got ratioed on that reply that they sent out on Twitter. But then they didn't even recant it though. They're just like, we're so sorry. We're sorry. It's not the right answer. You gotta say you're building tools. You're building tools similar to YouTube to protect the content creators. And then you see some people saying some really dumb things like streamers and YouTubers should have to pay for licenses to stream these games, which would cost tens of thousands of dollars, and it would effectively kill this entire industry overnight. There'd be a few content creators who'd be able to pay for licenses, but they wouldn't be able to buy multiple licenses a year. Games are being sold through this. This has been a way to get eyes and ears, particularly with big streamers, but still, all the small streamers add up.
Let's get to it then.
And they understand that. That's why a lot of content creators have gotten a seat at the table. Because they do help the bottom line. So, Twitch is going to have to do better. What they're saying is not currently the right answer. Now, some stuff is going to be on us, but not being able to play game music or in-game sound effects. And, you know, I doubt that the trolling is even from, like, just a troll group. I imagine this is corporate warfare. This is probably Facebook Gaming and YouTube and all the big juggernauts. They're at war over who's going to get be the juggernaut when it comes to the streaming platforms, and I would not be surprised in the least if YouTube or Facebook Gaming saw that, Alphabet saw that there was a weakness there, that Twitch hadn't developed tools to protect content creators with the DMCA, and decided to push in on that wall, and this is what we're getting. They may be profitable, but they could be more profitable. This is the corporate ethos. And you're absolutely right, but they're not going to be more... Almost every time a company becomes more profitable is because they invest in people. And that's not me making a statistic up. That's a fact. Like Home Depot. Home Depot used to be amazing. Home Depot was just one like store, and it grew into this massive, massive chain. Because Home Depot always hired
Have a bounty? No.
real carpenters, real electricians, real craftspeople, and would give you legitimate advice and taught people how to do it. So people really trusted Home Depot, and they paid their people well, and that business expanded like crazy. And then they got under new leadership, and they lowered the employee wages, and they stopped, you know, they just started hiring whomever, and they're not as good. And that just happens all the time. You know, the people who make the business great sell it or get out of it, and then the corporate ownership comes in and they cut. That's the first thing they do in order to raise the stock prices, is just start cutting. You can cut costs here, you can cut costs here, which of course almost always means quality is sacrificed in that trade-off. The stock price is soar for a little while, and then the business's reputation is either entirely in the mud, or they go under. Look at Sears. Look at what happened to Sears. That's a prime example. Look at what happened to JCPenney's. Now, part of their issue, though, is that they quit. They quit innovating. You know, they sat, and this crazy thing, online shopping, was happening all around them all the time. They had a good half a decade at least to try to adjust. These mounts are really strong. Try to adjust their business model, and they didn't do it.
End of the road for you.
Usually it starts from the top, though. Bad management. One of my brother's good friends was actually a big-time manager with Sears and ran about 6 stores. And he's a legit businessman. His family's business people, and you know, those types of people, and they're professional. They are. They get up early and they work late, and they just want to make $1 and have a family. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. But he basically had to sell all of the Sears stores that he ran, and ran well, because he would get orders in and make money, but Sears couldn't fulfill them. Sears corporate, their whole supply chain was completely messed up. It was like the Soviet Union in the 90s. They couldn't, like, they'd claim that they had all these, like, dishwashers and laundry machines and stovetops on the show floor, but when you went to go fulfill the order, they might have, like, one in the warehouse and no more coming in from the factories. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. I think Sears is technically still around, but how, I don't know. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. If you don't invest in people, bad things happen. People are the most expensive part of any business, but they're the most worthwhile. I think it's why people like Costco, I think. Costco pays people good. Costco's got a really good business. They make good money. They've got a really nice model, but they also, like, that's considered one of the better places to work if you're going to work in the service industry. And I don't, like, agree with, like, Bernie, all right? I know I'm not trying to go there, but, like, Bernie always brings people on the stage that are like, I've worked at Disney World for 30 years and I can't afford, like, a 2-bedroom house. That was never part of, like, whatever imagined American dream existed in the 60s and 70s. Those people still worked at, like, GE and GM. They had factory jobs. They had blue-collar, middle-class jobs. They weren't service industry jobs. Those used to be almost entirely filled by either people trying to make a living in the arts, trying to and work in another job so they could survive while they tried to get their break in whatever artistic endeavor they were trying to go for, or high schoolers and college kids. Like, Kroger's is one of the only places left that still hires high school kids. When I was at Pizza Trademark, the manager that left before me was in her 40s. No, and I felt really bad for her, but you can't retire on that kind of income. And I know Bernie wants to be like Secretary of Labor, I think, and he thinks that you should be able to retire on that. But you're going to see the price of fucking everything skyrocket. That's going to be the first thing that happens. And you're going to see people hire a hell of a lot less people. That's going to be the next thing that happens. I'm sorry, but not every job should make $65,000 a year.
You're done for now.
And I don't blame them, you know, it's because it is harder and it is different. It's not like I'm saying this was her fault. We all have some. Capitalism sucks for the quality of work. They didn't move forward with the internet and die like Toys R Us. Toys R Us outsourced to Amazon and paid for it. Socialism is the nationalization of industries. I'm completely against it. We have a mixed economy. Socialism has failed every single time. Look at the Soviet Union. Look at Venezuela. The only places that it works are smaller countries that are almost completely homogeneous with their population that have extremely strict immigration. You can't have open immigration policies and be socialist. The Nazis were socialists. The Soviets were socialists. I completely disagree with socialism. I believe in regulation. I believe in workers' rights and consumers' rights, but I'm for the free market. And I think history plays that out well.
Some of these are warning shots.
But I'm not going to talk about it anymore. A place in America, you can afford a one-bedroom apartment on minimum wage. Yeah, but look, when my uncle graduated high school, he got a good job at a metalworking factory. Some of those places still exist. I know my buddy Seth. He went and got a trade job. He makes good money now. Look at Steven. He did 2 years, got a CLR. He got his driver's license for trucking. Makes good money now. My buddy Seth, like I said, got an electrician's certificate, makes great money now. I can go to a trade school and go get a welding certificate in less than a year and make $50,000 a year. Those jobs are there. They are there. That's why I've always believed in investment in the trades. The last administration, which will be the last administration, was a big believer in it. So are moderate Democrats like Peter Buttigieg and Amy Klobuchar, and I completely agree with that. Invest in the trades, invest in apprenticeships, invest in the military. That's where those jobs still exist at. And they are middle-class jobs, and they do have benefits.
I've got 'em in my sights.
You can't just transfer people from being a farmer, which we need farmers, and God bless the farmers, and tell them to learn to code. You can't take someone from a Toys R Us and say, hey, give them a 6-month certificate on how to code. It's a very math-heavy profession. And it's not really scripters that are in demand. It's computer scientists that are in demand. People always think there's a shortage of engineers, but we produce just as many engineers as are needed, which is kind of amazing. I don't blame her for what her lot in life was. At the same time, you can't say that it was entirely the country's fault either. Nazi killed the socialists in Germany. It's the Nationalist Socialist Party. They were absolutely socialists. They were absolutely socialists. It's the biggest thing socialists love to ignore, is that the Nazis and Soviets were socialists and worked together to invade Poland. It's the National Socialist Party. Hitler took over the industries. And he enforced slave labor in them. That's the biggest thing, is and that's why they were crazy nationalists, because socialism is very, very expensive. Socialism is great until you run out of other people's money. That's why I'm fine with Democrats. Democrats aren't socialists. I heard the Trevinator's straight up broken now.
I think my trigger's stuck.
You know, they believe in regulations, which are most of the time necessary, almost always. Especially the big ones. Big companies. Other than that, they believe in an honest day's work in the free market.
Heck raising, guns blazing.
Yeah, this seems pretty fucking strong. Coding is fucking crazy, and we were learning to run MySpace pages. Holy hell. Yeah, coding is a lot different than scripting. There's no doubt about that, Ashton. That's when I heard Rahm Emanuel talking about how we're going to do a government program to teach people how to, code in 6 months. No, you're not. I got a minor in computer science when I was in college, and and I've worked service industry jobs my entire life, you're not going to be able to teach everybody how to code. I mean, I had friends who I respected who were illiterate. It still exists. I'm from a poor area. Illiteracy still exists. You know? And I'll tell you what, they're hard workers, and they mean well, but they're not going to code. And there's nothing wrong with that. Not everybody should be a coder. Farming is honorable work. Welding is honorable work. Plumbing is honorable work. We're always going to need farmers, carpenters, electricians. But, you know, it's one of the big things. Last admin. Sure, it's over with, so let's not even talk about that. But Amy Klobuchar and Peter Buttigieg, they're big on, especially Klobuchar. Rob Portman and Sherrod Brown, our two senators from the state of Ohio, are also very big on apprenticeships and the trades. That's what I believe in. I don't believe in Bernie's McDonald's workers need to make $25 an hour, because that is absolutely not sustainable, and it's not worth $25 an hour. You worked at McDonald's, Ashton, as you know. I mean, God bless people for doing that work. And you have to work with people all day. That's the hardest part of it. But it's not like it's hard work. It's not like it's a very high skill job. That's why it used to be filled by high schoolers. That's my opinion, though. I'm not trying to be dogmatic. That's just my opinion. That's the way I'll vote. There must be a thing around here. I didn't expect to get on this subject quite this early or that quick. Thankfully, we've been able to move off it pretty quick, though. This Trevinator, though. We'll know if it's OP if we can kill these mounts, because these mounts are straight up scary. Ooh.
Patience is a virtue. Just wait. Then I'll hurt you.
The only time I seem to really be able to do damage, though, is when I get the Manus Cannon on him. Where's the Trevinator at? Where's the Trevinator? There it is. I think radiation should 100% do damage to armor. Not as much as corrosive, maybe, but I have yet to find radiation working. It probably works on other characters. I think that Killer 6 has got a radiation build out for Flat Zane. Your views are different than mine. Reported. Right. Right. It's democracy. You know. Shit, the guy that I reference all the time was basically a democratic socialist. Orwell. You know, whatever. I would never ever say AOC or Bernie shouldn't be allowed on the floor. That's none of my business. That's up to the people. They have a full right to speak their mind, and they put their money where their mouth is. They ran for office and they've won. Good for them. I'm just saying, personally, that's not what I believe in, and that's not the way I would vote. Come on, one of them is really low. One of them is super low. Oh! The Trevinator's feeling strong, but dude, those mounts on those dinosaurs are really strong. Squeeze! Says Wilson. What's up, everyone? Hey, Gorilla. Thanks for being here, man. I appreciate you.
Did I die? Or am I just waking up from one of those boring dreams of going to work?
Hold your horse.
What else do I have? Sorry. God, maybe fire will do more damage. Currently, I'm dying to mounts. And I need to change that because I plan on trying to get everything basically caught up tonight before we do DLC 4. I was lurking and eating. Well, sweet. Thank you very much for being here. I mean, I should probably clean up my build. But God dang, these mounts are crazy. I think I'm going to just try to ignore them. These guys are really strong. We were blasting through this. Anyway, I just started blasting. We were just rolling through this shit yesterday, and now... What did Cat want me to do? Change my freaking latency mode or something? The thing is, we're not dropping any frames, so... And it keeps showing up red, even though we're right where the bitrate needs to be, and I know the internet is plenty fast to handle it, so... I'm just gonna ignore it. Consider it a UI error. Yesterday we were smooth sailing. We were killing shit no problemo. Today it's a little different.
Could use some cover!
Hey, you Zane! How's it hanging?
There we go. There's a little more
Begging for
different.
a burial.
Okay, now this new COV pistol. I mean, this thing does work, but Jesus, these mounts are just so tanky. The problem is I can't get a crit, and basically this entire Zane build, even though it's a little broken right now, is completely dependent on getting crits. This pistol is amazing. But ammo cost. We're already out. I need more screaming.
Let my gun do the talk!
Yeah. Do I just have pistols equipped now? Jeez. Let's go back to what do we have for SMGs? This thing was doing really good yesterday. Zane's Manus Cannon is a lot of fun.
This butter's a bit too hairy!
This thing's a fucking flamethrower, and it's good. This thing is a flame tosser. It's a dragon. It even got the alien mouth on it. Okay, clear for it. Okay, so we did have to kill them the whole time. There was no just running past them. There's gonna be also a page here, apparently. Oh, man. More of these freaking things. We don't have any ammo. I don't know what I'm gonna do about those guys. If I could get a full pistol reload somewhere, I could deal with them. We know that COV pistol can do it. We're doing a little bit of damage. But we're not freezing shit. As we freeze something. Where the hell is the crit spot on the dinosaurs? So what's Arms Race? I'm glad you asked. I put out a 25-minute video on that yesterday. Arms Race is Borderlands' attempt at a roguelike. Which sounds like it could be amazing, but I put a 25-minute video out on it, so I'll save it for the video. Is this the director's cut? This is Borderlands. This is the third DLC. I'm just really behind, Maltroff, and I'm trying to catch up. Nice, I'll have to watch it. But thank you, Ashton. I appreciate that. It's fun, though. I mean, it's going to be fun for the first, like, 2 times. What's fun about it is you finally get to use guns. Like, guns that you don't even think about using, like whites and blues and purples.
Me and your breath.
It's all limited to that run. And, like, that's the one part of it that's working. And that's about it. It's a really cool idea that could just be so fun, but because they didn't take it all the way, I talk about it in the video, but because they didn't, it's not gonna last, and it's not near as good as what it could or should be.
I live for this.
It really feels half-hearted. I still like it for now, but I think we'll all be sick of it soon. It literally just boils down to the exact same thing over and over again. Are trash. Yeah, they are, but if you take it back to like when you first started playing, when you were like level like 5 and 15, you know, and you got that experience of picking up like, oh shit, a blue, that's really gonna change my build up. That thing that's really fun about Borderlands that you don't get to do in the end game anymore. That is in Arms Race, which is great. But then that's the end of the stuff that's good about it. I really think you'd enjoy War Z and Remnant from the Ashes, man. Those games are right up your alley. I definitely want to check them out. I need to add them to my list. I've been trying my damnedest, Ashton, to work through the backlog, so thank you for the suggestions. I'm pretty sure I've got them installed, too. Yeah, I really liked what you said about the World War Z endgame system. That sounds really cool. It sounds really cool and fun. Have to set some goals and see if we can't do a YouTube project around it. See if we can't do one side quest in an hour period. This is feeling like mayhem mode again with these stupid mounts, and I don't know how to damage them enough. Hey, let's try the Bearcat. I always want to try the Bearcat, and then I try it, and I'm like, oh, it's still bad. It's still bad. But maybe my mind can be changed. That phaser was doing work yesterday. What are we running, speaking of? Still running ice damage? Okay. We'll stick with that for a little bit. This thing's cool. Doesn't do enough, but it's cool. It's basically an ice launcher. Ooh. Not being able to crit is what's really hurting me, since this whole build is like crits. Like, look at that. That feels like it should be doing just so much damage. And yet, did a lot of damage to us. That's for certain. My god, 15. This dinosaur has killed me so many times now. So I think this Maltroff, as far as the director's cut and the designer's cut, I think Arms Race is the director's cut, and then we're gonna get the designer's cut, I think. But we have no idea what's gonna be in the designer's cut, which plays into the whole, like, it's $30. And I talk about this in the video, but Atomic Crops is 15, For the King is 15, it's on Game Pass. Neon Abyss is 15, it's on Game Pass. Risk of Rain 2, I'm nearly positive. I got it for 15, I know. I think it does go up to 20 sometimes, though. Anyway, they're half the price, and they're like 4 times as good. What's your projection for PS5 and Xbox Series X? As far as, like, who will win, Ashton? That's a good question. Who do you think? I mean, if I had to guess, and we went by history, I would assume that, in the end, PlayStation 5 is probably gonna... I think Xbox just wants to sell about as many PCs as possible.
Throw in the barrier!
I think that they think it's like Blu-ray and HD DVD. They can just keep... They keep making PlayStation attack one front, but really they're moving in on the opposite front, and it's a flanking maneuver. You know, it seems good and it looks good, but when you got first-party titles coming to PC and you got more... and all the Xbox's Game Pass is on PC, and it's becoming this more and more... Xbox is becoming more of a platform that is fully integrated into the PC. And I think that Xbox or Microsoft feels that every PC that they sell is one less PlayStation sold. That's my 2 cents. That's my wager. PS will always win. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the king console. We say that, but, you know, really the king console, the king of all consoles. Tied or a very close second, but let's call it the king of the consoles for the sake of argument. The Wii, the Nintendo Wii. Like, oh yeah, PlayStation 1 between the PS3 and the Xbox 360. The Xbox 360 outsold the PS3 for that entire generation until you got to the Kinect. And then when you got to the Kinect, Xbox just collapsed. But really, the Wii is the fucking winner. I say that, but of course the PlayStation 2 is the greatest selling console of all time, and it's something like... No one's even close to where they're at. I'm pretty sure it's in the hundreds of millions of units. Real projection of the friends we made along the way. This lucky bastard, Sig. Speaking of, my bad, I didn't